You've been taught to chase everything but yourself. You chase approval, attention, validation, but never growth. You want the world to see your worth, but you've never sat down and built it. You scroll, you compare, you envy, you complain, but you don't create. You want to be respected, but you haven't given yourself a reason to respect yourself yet. You want to be chosen, but you don't even choose yourself. Because deep down, you've been living like a copy, not a creator. You've been memorizing other people's greatness while forgetting your own potential. You've been programmed to collect things, not skills, to wear brands, not build one, to look rich, not become valuable. But let me tell you, the world bows to value, not noise, not looks, not fake confidence, value, the quiet force that never needs to scream to be seen. The one thing no one can steal, copy, or imitate because it's earned. Every hour you waste doing nothing, you lose the chance to evolve into something. Every time you pick comfort, you kill another version of yourself that could have been legendary. Stop trying to look successful. Start becoming unignorably skilled, because when you add value to yourself, you don't chase, you attract. You don't beg for respect, people sense it. You don't need to prove anything, your results speak louder than your words. Everyone wants to be noticed, but only those who build value get remembered. The world is full of noise, but value cuts through like lightning. You want to silence the doubters, outgrow them. You want revenge on the ones who left, become so evolved they can't reach you anymore. Because nothing hits harder than silence from someone who outworked you. Build yourself so deeply that people's opinions can't touch you. Study when they sleep, create when they complain. Stop chasing validation, build undeniable value. You waste years trying to prove yourself to people who don't even notice your existence. You keep refreshing likes, counting views, waiting for claps that don't define your worth. You measure your growth through eyes that never saw your struggle. You beg the world to see your light, forgetting that the sun never asks permission to shine. Validation is a drug, and it numbs your hunger. Feeds your ego while starving your evolution. You don't need applause to confirm your direction. You don't need permission to rise higher. Every time you look for approval, you hand over your power. You give strangers the authority to decide your worth. You become addicted to opinions, enslaved by acceptance, trapped by expectations. But value, real value, is built in silence. It's born in lonely nights, fueled by discipline, carved by consistency. You can't fake value. You can fake confidence. You can fake success. But value is earned in the grind. It's what remains when attention fades. It's what speaks when you stop talking. Validation dies fast, but value lasts forever. Every great person you admire stopped seeking validation long ago. They stopped explaining themselves to people who couldn't understand their vision. They stopped chasing applause and started chasing greatness, because when you build value, the world doesn't need to be convinced. It just can't ignore you. Your power is not in being liked. It's in being undeniable. Stop trying to be popular. Be respected. Stop trying to impress. Start to impact. The crowd will always change their minds, but your worth stays when the noise disappears. You are not here to be seen. You are here to be remembered, and you will only be remembered for what you built, not who you pleased. Every second you chase validation, your purpose fades a little. You start living for reaction instead of creation. You start editing your soul to fit someone else's comfort, and that's the fastest way to die while still breathing. The moment you stop asking, "Do they like me?" and start asking, "Am I becoming better?" your life transforms. Because growth never seeks permission, excellence doesn't beg to be noticed. When you build undeniable value, people can't deny your presence. You become the storm that shakes the ground quietly. You become the voice that doesn't shout but still echoes through time. The most powerful people are not loud, they're unshakable. They don't explain their worth, they show it through their craft, their discipline, their mastery. Validation makes you dependent, but value makes you free. Because when you carry value, you stop chasing, opportunities chase you. Doors open without knocking. Respect appears without demanding, and people listen without you screaming. You want freedom, build value. You want confidence, build value. You want peace, build value, because value silences every doubt. It replaces the need for approval with the power of purpose. You don't have to post every step. You don't have to prove every move. Just keep building while they watch, and let your evolution answer their silence. Let your results be the loudest sound in the room. Every like fades, but every skill compounds. Every comment disappears, but every hour of mastery remains. So build something that speaks long after you're gone. Validation feeds your ego once, but value feeds your legacy forever. Don't let their opinions decide your direction. Let your growth decide your worth. Let your effort decide your identity. Because nothing can stop someone who no longer needs approval. You become untouchable when your value becomes undeniable. You become unstoppable when you outgrow the need to be seen. Don't live to impress the world, live to improve it. Don't ask them to clap, give them something they can't ignore. When you build undeniable value, the world eventually kneels to your effort. You don't have to chase, your light draws everything toward you. Stop living for recognition and start living for results. Stop being addicted to validation and start being addicted to growth. The loudest in the room are usually the emptiest inside. The quiet ones, the consistent ones, the focused ones, they build kingdoms in silence. You don't need to scream your worth, you need to embody it. You don't need to prove your greatness, you need to become it. The world doesn't reward those who chase attention, it rewards those who create impact. So stop running after applause and start running toward your potential. Because the moment you build undeniable value, you'll realize the validation you were chasing was meant to come from within. Mastery attracts what mediocrity begs for. The world doesn't bow to wishful thinking. It bows to those who perfect their craft until it becomes undeniable. People waste years wanting success, but very few are willing to become excellent enough to deserve it. Mediocrity begs for attention, but mastery commands it without asking. When you master something, opportunities start chasing you because you've become too valuable to ignore. Mediocrity waits for luck. Mastery creates it through relentless repetition. Most people want the crown, but they refuse the weight it demands. They crave recognition, but avoid the discipline that builds it. They want to shine, but they don't want to burn for it. Mastery is not born in comfort. It's forged in obsession. It's built in silence when no one is watching. It's developed in the moments when others choose rest and you choose refinement. The mediocre talk about what they'll do. The masters are already doing it. They repeat until it becomes muscle memory, until failure can't find space between precision and purpose. Mastery isn't about doing more, it's about doing better over and over again. It's about turning weakness into strength and strength into art. While mediocrity complains about difficulty, mastery feeds on it, because challenge is the fuel that sharpens excellence. Mediocrity hides behind excuses, mastery hides behind results. You can't fake mastery. It reveals itself the moment pressure appears. It shows in your tone, your timing, your execution. The world doesn't reward effort, it rewards effectiveness. And mastery is effectiveness perfected. The average seeks shortcuts, but the master builds systems. The average fears mistakes, but the master studies them. Every failure becomes data, every setback becomes wisdom. That's why mastery always rises even after 1,000 falls. Because it's not about perfection, it's about precision earned through persistence. Mediocrity waits for motivation, mastery thrives on discipline. It doesn't care how you feel, it shows up anyway. It doesn't wait for the right mood, it builds momentum through movement. Mediocrity plays for the crowd, mastery plays for the standard. The crowd fades, but the standard stays. And when you raise your standard high enough, everything below it naturally disappears. Mastery doesn't need validation, it becomes its own evidence. It's not loud, it's not flashy, but its presence is magnetic. You can't deny someone who's truly mastered their field. Their work speaks louder than any introduction. The mediocre demand recognition, the master earns it, The mediocre wait to be discovered, the master becomes impossible to miss. Every hour spent sharpening your gift builds a power that average minds can't understand. While mediocrity looks for comfort, mastery looks for pressure. Because pressure builds diamonds and diamonds don't beg to shine, they just do. Mediocrity copies, mastery creates. Mediocrity imitates success, mastery defines it. And once you taste mastery, you can never go back to average. Because you realize everything you ever wanted, respect, wealth, freedom, peace, all of it follows mastery. The world doesn't pay for effort, it pays for excellence. And excellence is the result of obsession with improvement. Mediocrity fears repetition, but mastery embraces it like oxygen, because repetition is not boring when you're becoming dangerous. The more you refine your craft, the less competition exists. Most people quit before they even get good. But masters, they keep going until good becomes great and great becomes effortless. That's why mastery attracts everything others chase. Money follows mastery, respect follows mastery, influence follows mastery, because the one who delivers at the highest level never has to beg, the world comes knocking. While mediocrity complains about unfairness, mastery creates its own rules. While mediocrity blames the system, mastery learns to beat it. While mediocrity watches, mastery builds. You can't cheat your way to greatness, you must become it. You must be willing to do what average minds can't imagine. You must love the process more than the prize. Because mastery lives in the details, in the discipline, in the decisions no one sees. You don't stumble into mastery, you construct it with sweat, failure, and focus. You lose friends, you lose comfort, you lose time, but you gain power, the kind of power that doesn't need words. The kind of power that makes silence louder than noise. Mediocrity fades with trends, but mastery outlives generations. So stop trying to be everywhere, be exceptional somewhere. Stop chasing approval, chase accuracy. Stop competing with others, compete with yesterday's version of you. Because when you master your craft, life bends in your favor. People will search for you, opportunities will find you, and everything mediocrity once begged for. Mastery receives effortless discipline, turns dust into diamonds. It takes the smallest effort, the smallest spark, and transforms it into something eternal. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you're meant to be. It doesn't care about your mood, your excuses, or your comfort. It only cares about consistency. Every moment you act with discipline, you sculpt your destiny with invisible hands. While the world sleeps, discipline grinds in silence. While the lazy dream of success, discipline builds it. It's not talent that separates the great from the forgotten, it's discipline. Talent fades when comfort grows, but discipline never dies. It sharpens dull minds, strengthens weak spirits, and turns ordinary people into unstoppable forces. You can't fake discipline. It's revealed in the darkness, when no one's watching, when quitting looks easier than continuing. That's where warriors are made. That's where diamonds are born. Pressure without discipline breaks you, but pressure with discipline shapes you. Every repetition matters, every sacrifice compounds, every small choice to stay committed becomes the foundation of greatness. Discipline doesn't give you what you want now, it gives you what lasts forever. It's the fire that burns away laziness, excuses, and fear. It's the quiet power that turns chaos into clarity. When you master discipline, you no longer wait for motivation, you move without it. You don't need energy, you create it. You don't seek control, you become it. Discipline is the ultimate freedom because it gives you power over yourself. It silences the voice that says later and replaces it with now. It destroys the habit of hesitation. It replaces emotion with execution. It doesn't care how hard it feels. It only cares that it gets done. Discipline is the seed of every success story. It's the invisible backbone of every legend. Every empire, every masterpiece, every legacy all built on the same unglamorous routine repeated with purpose. The disciplined don't need applause, their results speak in thunder. They don't chase hype, they chase habit. They don't chase comfort, they chase control, because they know every easy choice today becomes a heavy regret tomorrow. And every difficult choice today becomes effortless tomorrow. Discipline is the difference between wishing and winning, between starting and finishing, between almost and unstoppable. The ones who have it move with a different energy. They walk with quiet confidence because they know they've earned every step. They don't hope for greatness, they've built it one painful repetition at a time. Discipline teaches you how to work when tired, how to move when afraid, how to stand when broken. It trains your soul to obey your vision. It's the weapon that turns chaos into consistency. Every time you say no to temptation, you add another layer of strength to your soul. Every time you show up when you don't feel like it, you prove that emotion doesn't control you. Discipline makes you unstoppable because it makes you immune to excuses. It makes you dangerous because you no longer depend on mood to move. You become the kind of person who can't be shaken because you've learned to command yourself. Discipline doesn't demand perfection, it demands progress. It's not about doing everything right. It's about never giving up on doing it better. It's the grind that no one sees, but everyone eventually feels. You can see it in the way a champion trains. You can hear it in the silence before success. You can feel it in the presence of someone who has mastered themselves. That's discipline, invisible in the moment, undeniable in the result. It's the habit of finishing what you start. The courage to stay consistent when the world gets distracted. The strength to keep going when your body screams stop. Discipline isn't punishment, it's protection from your weaker self. It guards your vision from destruction. It protects your dream from delay. It keeps your potential alive when others bury theirs under comfort. Without discipline, potential dies in silence. Without discipline, dreams remain dreams. But with discipline, everything changes. Because the one who can control himself can control anything. Discipline turns time into transformation. It turns struggle into strength. It turns doubt into dominance. It turns ordinary into extraordinary. Every day you act with discipline, you stack power inside you that no one can take away. You become consistent when others collapse. You become calm when others panic. You become focused when others fade. That's the power of discipline. It polishes the dust of your effort until it shines like a diamond. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be relentless. Because the world doesn't remember who tried, it remembers who persisted. Discipline is not glamorous, but it's glorious. It's the quiet force behind every miracle of success. And once you have it, no force on earth can keep you from becoming who you were meant to be. Your silence becomes power when your results speak. You don't have to explain yourself to people who don't understand your vision. You don't have to prove your worth through words when your actions already echo louder than any speech. Silence is not weakness, it's strategy. It's the calm before the impact, the stillness before the storm. The loudest people often have the least to show, but the silent ones, they build in shadows and strike with lightning. Noise is a distraction for the ones who have nothing to display. Silence is the focus of those who are creating something worth seeing. When your results speak, arguments die. You don't need validation when evidence stands beside you. You don't need to convince anyone when success becomes your voice. Your silence holds weight when it's backed by execution. You stop talking about what you'll do and start doing what needs to be done. Because talking feeds the ego, but silence feeds the legacy. Every hour of quiet work becomes thunder when it's time to reveal what you've built. The world underestimates those who stay silent until they show up with something unmatchable. The loud chase attention, the silent chase perfection. And perfection doesn't need an introduction, it speaks for itself. Your silence becomes your armor in a world obsessed with noise. You no longer waste energy proving, defending, or comparing. You save that power for progress. You channel every ounce of energy into execution, and the results become your roar. People will talk, doubt, mock, and dismiss you. Let them. Because when your results arrive, they'll drown every voice that ever doubted. There's power in doing more than you say and saying less than you do. It confuses the world because they can't predict your next move. They expect noise but are met with action. They expect talk but are crushed by proof. Silence is dangerous when it belongs to someone building something unstoppable. It's the mark of someone who no longer needs attention to stay motivated. You stop explaining your grind and start expanding your greatness. You stop sharing plans and start showing results. The ones who brag burn out. The ones who build break through. Because when you live in silence, there's no pressure to pretend, only the pressure to perform. And that pressure creates diamonds. The world doesn't remember promises, it remembers proof. It doesn't reward words, it rewards work. So let them doubt you. Let them misjudge you. Let them think you've disappeared, because silence hides progress until it's too late to compete with it. Every second you stay silent, your energy compounds. Every hour you grind in peace, your presence strengthens. Until one day, your results walk into the room and speak every word you never said. Your silence will intimidate those who can't match your work ethic. They'll wonder how you did it, where you came from, how you stayed so consistent, but they won't understand that silence was your superpower all along. Because when you talk too early, you lose momentum. When you expose your goals, you invite opinions. And opinions kill focus faster than failure ever could. The masters of every field are masters of silence first. They don't announce their moves, they announce their mastery. They don't need to scream. Their achievements do it for them. Silence isn't emptiness, it's preparation. It's the quiet intensity that builds pressure inside you until the world feels it. When you let your results speak, your voice gains authority. You don't have to demand respect, it's given. You don't have to fight for attention, it's earned. You don't have to seek recognition, it arrives. The silent worker always outlasts the loud dreamer, because silence keeps your energy sacred, while noise leaks it away. Silence is strength disguised as stillness. It's patience mixed with precision. It's the art of staying invisible until you're unmissable. Your silence creates curiosity, and curiosity turns into awe when your results appear. You become unpredictable. You become undeniable. You become unstoppable, because when your results speak, even your enemies must listen. They can't argue with evidence. They can't compete with consistency. They can't silence success built from discipline and patience. Your silence is not emptiness, it's your preparation room. Every time you stay silent instead of seeking approval, your focus sharpens. Every time you choose action over argument, your value multiplies. And every time you disappear into your work, you return transformed. Let your silence carry power. Let your results speak your truth. Let your progress make the noise, because when your work becomes your voice, the world will have no choice but to listen. Growth demands isolation, not applause. You can't evolve surrounded by noise. You can't become your highest self while drowning in distractions and opinions. Growth is lonely because it separates you from who you were and from everyone who's afraid to change. Isolation isn't punishment, it's preparation. It's where you strip away comfort and face yourself with no filters, no validation, no noise. Everyone wants transformation, but few can handle the silence it requires. Growth doesn't happen in crowds. It happens in the shadows where no one claps, no one watches, no one cares. The world praises the results, but never the seasons of isolation that built them. When you're truly growing, you won't fit in anymore, because growth demands you leave behind people who don't want to move. It demands you outgrow conversations that don't feed your soul. It demands you detach from approval and connect with purpose. The applause feels good, but it weakens you. It makes you chase praise instead of progress. It makes you addicted to attention instead of obsessed with evolution. You don't need people to understand your path. You need courage to walk it alone. Isolation is where you meet your raw truth, stripped of all masks. It's where you learn what drives you, what breaks you, what rebuilds you. It's where your spirit becomes unshakable. Because when you can stand alone, you become unbreakable when surrounded. You stop fearing loneliness because you've met your real self in silence. Growth will require you to disappear, to cut ties with distractions, to leave behind comfort zones that once felt like home. It will test your patience when no one notices your effort. It will test your discipline when no one applauds your progress. But that's the beauty of isolation. It teaches you to clap for yourself. It teaches you that you don't need an audience to validate your vision. The applause of the world fades fast, but the strength you gain in solitude lasts forever. People love to be seen growing, but real growth happens unseen. It's in the mornings you wake up early when no one's watching. It's in the nights you grind while everyone else sleeps. It's in the quiet sacrifices that no one will ever know, but that will one day speak louder than any praise. Isolation burns away weakness and exposes what's real. It shows you your patterns, your fears, your fake identities. It forces you to face the truth that applause can't hide, who you really are without the world's noise. And that truth becomes your foundation, that silence becomes your strength. You don't become powerful by being surrounded, you become powerful by being centered, by grounding yourself in purpose, not popularity, by choosing growth even when it costs you company. The more you evolve, the quieter your circle becomes, because not everyone is meant to go where you're going. Some will fall away, some will resist, some will misunderstand. Let them. Isolation is proof that you're entering a higher frequency where only few can follow. The higher you rise, the thinner the air gets, and the fewer people can breathe there. That's not loneliness, that's alignment. That's your soul moving toward authenticity. The world will never understand why you distance yourself, but growth doesn't need understanding, it needs commitment. You're not meant to stay where you started. You're meant to separate, to elevate, to transform. And transformation always feels like loss at first. You'll lose people, but you'll find purpose. You'll lose comfort, but you'll find clarity. You'll lose validation, but you'll find vision. That trade is worth everything, because applause gives you noise, but isolation gives you mastery. It teaches you to trust your process even when no one claps. It makes you disciplined when no one motivates you. It builds character in the silence where no one celebrates your effort. You learn to move for your mission, not for attention. You learn to love your solitude because it's shaping the version of you the world isn't ready for yet. The cocoon is lonely, but it's where wings grow. The cave is dark, but it's where diamonds form. The silence is heavy, but it's where strength is built. Don't fear isolation, use it. Let it refine your focus, rebuild your fire, and reveal your real identity. Every champion was once unseen. Every legend was once underestimated. Every strong soul was once isolated and misunderstood. That's how growth works. It hides you before it reveals you. You're not being left behind, you're being leveled up. You're not being forgotten, you're being formed. You're not losing people, you're losing limits. So embrace the silence, embrace the space, embrace the solitude. Because one day, the same world that ignored your isolation will be standing to applaud your transformation. Add value to yourself until the world has no choice but to notice. Don't chase attention, build attraction through evolution. When you keep growing, the world cannot overlook what you've become. Value is magnetic. It pulls opportunities, respect, and recognition without noise. You don't beg for the spotlight when your presence becomes the light. Every day you sharpen yourself, you move one step closer to becoming unstoppable. The problem is most people want to be seen before they've done anything worth seeing. They crave recognition without putting in the repetition. But value doesn't come from words, it comes from work, the quiet hours, the painful sacrifices, the relentless learning. That's where your worth is born. You can't demand respect you haven't earned. You can't expect results you didn't work for. Every great name you know today was once invisible, grinding in silence, adding value piece by piece. Because when you become valuable, you don't chase, you choose. You choose where to go, who to work with, what to accept. You move from desperation to dominance. The world pays for value, not noise. It ignores the ones who shout and follows the ones who deliver. Your worth is not built by how much you speak, but by how much you can give. You want to change your life. Add value to yourself first. Read, learn, practice, repeat. Refine your craft until it becomes art. Turn your weaknesses into weapons. Turn your struggles into skills. You are the product. Improve the product daily. Because when you carry value, you walk differently. Your energy changes. Your presence feels heavier. People can sense the work you've done without you saying a word. That's power. That's authority earned through development. No one can take that from you because no one gave it to you. You built it, and when you build it, it stays. You can lose followers, but you'll never lose your foundation. You can lose attention, but you'll never lose ability. Because true value lives within, not around you. You must reach a point where you become so skilled that silence works like an announcement, so capable that opportunities compete to find you, so prepared that success has no choice but to arrive. The world only ignores you when you offer nothing. Add so much depth to yourself that ignorance becomes impossible. Learn what others avoid, do what others delay, perfect what others neglect, and soon you'll be standing where mediocrity can't follow. People will say you're lucky, but luck is just value meeting opportunity. Luck is created by preparation. Luck is what happens when you've outgrown average. Every day you invest in yourself, your value multiplies silently. Every new skill adds another layer to your power. Every bit of discipline compounds into unstoppable momentum. Don't focus on looking valuable, focus on becoming valuable, because image fades, but ability endures. The one who knows more, who gives more, who performs better, always wins in the long run. And when you reach that level, people can't ignore you even if they want to. They'll talk, they'll watch, they'll copy, but they'll never be you. Because your value was built, not borrowed. You didn't just grow, you evolved, you became a force too strong to overlook. Your worth doesn't need an introduction anymore, it introduces itself through excellence. The greatest power you can have is self-made value. It doesn't ask, it demands, it doesn't shout, it radiates. The world might delay recognition, but it can't deny consistency. So keep adding layers to your greatness while others waste time seeking applause. Keep learning while they scroll. Keep building while they brag. Keep refining while they rest. Because every moment you work on yourself, you're building proof that can't be argued. One day, your name will carry weight because of what you've created, not what you've said. You won't have to ask for opportunities, they'll look for you. You won't need to chase success, it will orbit around your effort. Because the world always bends to those who outgrow mediocrity. You'll know your value when you no longer feel the need to prove it. You'll know your power when you stop asking to be noticed. The universe has a rule: when you become valuable enough, it places you where you belong. So build yourself until you're undeniable. Add so much value to your existence that you become the standard, not the seeker. Be the reason silence turns into respect. Be the example others study in disbelief. Don't wait for the world to notice you. Make yourself.